The first time Sarah noticed the mirror, she thought it was just another piece of furniture in the old house. A heavy, dark frame, a reflective surface that didn't shine properly, like it had been polished too many times or not enough, like it was tired. It sat in the hallway outside the guest room, an empty space where no one ever stood. No one ever needed to look there. It was an odd placement, like the house itself had decided the mirror should be seen but not used. Sarah was new to the house, new to the town, new to the idea that her life could end in a place that looked so peaceful. She had moved in because she needed silence. She needed distance from the city, from her ex, from the constant feeling of being watched even when she was alone. She thought the house would help her forget. The house did not help. It reminded her. The mirror was only the beginning. The house that knew her name. Sarah's landlord, Mr. Harlan, had been kind in a way that made her uneasy. He smiled too gently. He asked too many questions. "How are you settling in?" he asked the first night. "Fine," Sarah said. "You don't look fine," he replied, as if he already knew the answer. She laughed it off. She told herself she was imagining things. She was tired. She was scared. She had moved into an old house with old furniture and old stories. It was natural to feel weird. But the house didn't feel old. It felt alive. It had a rhythm, a pulse, a breath. Sarah began to notice small things. Her keys were never where she left them. Her phone battery drained faster in the house than anywhere else. The hallway light flickered whenever she walked past the mirror, and every time she looked into the mirror, she felt like it was looking back with intention. One night, she woke up at 2:17 a.m. and heard a soft sound like a finger tapping glass. She sat up. The house was silent, but the mirror was glowing faintly. Not with light, with memory. Sarah stood, pulled her blanket tighter around her shoulders, and walked toward the hallway. The mirror reflected her, but the reflection was wrong. Her hair was not messy. Her face was not pale. Her eyes were not scared. She was smiling, a smile she had never worn in her life. Sarah blinked. The reflection blinked back. The mirror was not showing her. It was showing someone else wearing her skin. She stepped back, heart pounding. The light in the hallway flickered again, and the reflection returned to normal. Sarah told herself it was a dream. It was not a dream. 2 weeks later, Sarah found a note tucked inside the mirror's frame. It was written in a handwriting she recognized, even though she had never seen it before. It was her handwriting. The note said, "Don't trust the house. Don't trust yourself." Sarah stood frozen, the note trembling in her hand. Her mind tried to create a logical explanation. Maybe she had written it in a moment of panic and forgotten. Maybe she had lost her mind. Maybe someone was playing a prank. But the note was too precise, too personal. It was like the house had read her. It was like the house had written her. Sarah turned the note over. There was another line. "You will become her." Her stomach tightened. She felt the cold edge of fear cut through her. She tried to remember who her was. There was no her in her life. She had no sister, no twin, no past that included another version of herself. She tried to shake the thought away, but the house would not let her. The guest room was empty. The bed was made, the curtains were drawn, the walls were painted a dull gray. The air smelled like old perfume. Sarah had never used the room. She didn't even know why it existed, but she kept hearing a faint sound coming from there at night. A whisper, a woman's voice. Not loud, not clear, just
a feeling of speech. One night, she couldn't ignore it anymore. She walked to the guest room and opened the door. The room was dark, but the mirror in the hallway reflected a faint light, as if the house was trying to guide her. Sarah stepped inside. The whisper grew louder. It was coming from the corner. A small, cracked mirror sat on the floor facing the wall. It was not the same mirror as the one in the hallway. It was smaller, older. It looked like it had been broken and repaired. Sarah approached it slowly. The whisper became clearer. The words were soft, almost gentle. "Please help me." Sarah's throat went dry. She turned the mirror round and saw a woman sitting on the floor behind her. Not in the room, in the mirror. The woman was Sarah's age, same hair, same face, but her eyes were empty. Her skin was pale, almost translucent. She looked like a person who had been forgotten for a long time. The woman in the mirror lifted her hand. She pressed her palm against the glass, as if she could touch Sarah through it. Sarah stared, unable to move. The woman's lips moved. "You left me," she mouthed. Sarah's chest tightened. She felt a cold wave of guilt. She didn't know why, she didn't know when, but she felt it deep inside her, like a memory buried under years of dirt. The woman continued, "You promised you would never leave me alone." Sarah backed away. Her heart was pounding so hard she could feel it in her ears. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to believe. But she knew one thing. The house was not empty. The house had a secret. And the secret was her. Sarah tried to ignore the mirror. She tried to live normally. She went to work, she bought groceries, she made tea. She tried to pretend the house was just an old building with old furniture. But every night, the mirror pulled her back. Every night, the whisper grew louder. Every night, she felt the presence of the woman behind the glass. Sarah started to keep a notebook. She wrote down every strange event, every detail she could remember. She wrote down the note. She wrote down the whispers. She wrote down the way the mirror seemed to breathe. She wrote down her dreams. And the dreams were the worst part, because the dreams were not her dreams. They were memories. She saw herself in a different life. She saw a younger Sarah. No, not Sarah. Someone else. A woman with the same face. The woman was standing in a room full of mirrors. She was crying. She was screaming. She was begging someone not to leave her. Sarah woke up sweating. She didn't know if it was a dream or a memory. She didn't know which was worse. One night, she found a photo on her pillow, a photograph of the woman from the mirror. The woman was smiling, but her smile was empty. It looked like someone who had learned how to pretend. On the back of the photo was a date, July 7th, 2014. Sarah stared at the date. It meant nothing. It meant everything. She checked her phone. She searched for the date. She searched her memory. She searched her mind. But nothing. She had no memory of that date. She had no memory of the woman. She had no memory of the house. But the house remembered her. The house remembered the woman. The house remembered betrayal. One afternoon, Sarah was cleaning the hallway when she noticed something strange. The mirror in the hallway was not reflecting her. It was reflecting the guest room. The mirror showed the guest room as if it was in front of her, but the door was closed behind her. She turned around. The hallway was empty. The guest room door was closed. She looked back at the mirror. The guest room door in the reflection was open, and inside the reflection, the woman was standing in the doorway. She was looking at Sarah. She was smiling, but her smile was not empty anymore. It was full of hatred. Sarah's hands shook. She took a step closer. The woman in the reflection lifted her hand again. This time she pointed, not at Sarah, at the mirror itself. As if she was showing Sarah something. Sarah followed her gaze. She looked at the mirror frame. There was a hidden latch, A small metal button hidden inside the wood. Sarah pressed it. The mirror swung open like a door. Behind it was a hidden compartment. Inside the compartment was a journal. The journal was old. The cover was worn. The pages were yellow. And the first page had Sarah's name written in it. Sarah L. Hayes. Underneath her name was another line. I am not Sarah. I am you. Sarah's vision blurred. She opened the journal. The handwriting inside was hers, but it was older. It was darker. It was more confident. The journal was full of entries about the house, about the mirror, about the woman, and about betrayal. The last entry was dated July 7th, 2014. Sarah's hands trembled as she read the words. She thinks she is free. She thinks she is safe. She thinks she is Sarah, but she is the copy. I am the original. I will not let her take my life again. Sarah's stomach dropped. She closed the journal and held it to her chest. She felt like the house was laughing. She felt like the mirror was watching. She felt like she had been living someone else's life. The woman in the mirror was not a ghost. She was a victim, and Sarah was the reason she was trapped. Sarah needed answers. She needed to understand what had happened. She went to the town library. She searched for the house. She searched for its history. She searched for the name on the journal. Sarah Hayes. She found a newspaper article. A tragedy. A woman named Sarah Hayes had died in 2014. She had been found in an old house. The police said it was suicide, but the article mentioned something else. A mirror. A strange mirror that had been found in the hallway. The mirror had been broken and repaired. The article said, the mirror was found to have strange markings. It seemed to reflect not the present, but the past. Sarah read the article again and again. Her mind tried to deny it, but the facts were clear. The woman in the mirror was the original Sarah Hayes. She had died, but she had not disappeared. She had not moved on. She was trapped, and now Sarah had taken her place. Sarah had become the copy. The house had swapped their lives. The house had given Sarah a new identity, a new life, a new name, but the mirror had kept the original, and the original wanted her life back. Sarah returned home. The house felt colder. The air felt heavier. The mirror seemed to glow. Sarah walked into the hallway. She stood in front of the mirror. She stared at her reflection. The reflection stared back. But this time, the reflection was not smiling. It was calm. It was patient. The reflection spoke without moving its lips. You found the journal. Sarah's voice shook. Who are you? The reflection's eyes narrowed. I am the Sarah who lived here first. Sarah swallowed. The reflection continued. You came here to escape. You came to forget. You came to start over. You thought you were safe. Sarah's heart pounded. She felt anger rise inside her. Why are you doing this? She demanded. The reflection's smile returned. Because you betrayed me. Sarah shook her head. I didn't betray you. I didn't know you existed. The reflection tilted her head. You did. You did know. Sarah's mind raced. She remembered flashes. A memory of a woman crying. A memory of a mirror. A memory of a promise. A memory of a name. The reflection's voice grew softer. You promised you would never leave me alone. Sarah felt the memory like a knife. She remembered now. She remembered the day she first moved into the house. She remembered signing the contract. She remembered the landlord's smile. She remembered the feeling of being relieved. And she remembered something else. A small hidden clause in the contract. A clause she had signed without reading. A clause that said, the tenant agrees to exchange their identity with the house's previous occupant. Sarah's hands went cold. She looked down at the contract. She saw her signature. She saw the words. She saw the betrayal. The reflection spoke again. You were supposed to stay. You were supposed to keep me alive. You were supposed to keep my memories safe. Sarah shook her head, tears streaming down her face. I didn't know. The reflection's eyes hardened. You knew. You always knew. Sarah stepped back. Her breath came in short bursts. She felt the house closing in. She felt the mirror pulling her. She felt the original Sarah reaching through the glass. She felt the betrayal. And then the mirror cracked. Not with a loud noise, not with a dramatic crash. It cracked slowly, like a smile breaking. The crack spread across the surface, and the reflection smiled wider. Now you will understand. The crack grew. The mirror surface began to ripple like water. The reflection reached out. Sarah felt a pull, a force dragging her toward the glass. She tried to resist. She grabbed the frame. She held on, but the mirror pulled harder. The hallway blurred. The air became thick. Sarah felt herself being pulled into the reflection. She screamed. The reflection's hand touched her palm. The skin of the reflection was cold. The coldness traveled through Sarah's body. She felt her identity slipping. She felt her life slipping. She felt her memories fading. The reflection whispered, "Now you will be the one trapped. Now you will be the one who watches. Now you will be the one who begs for help." Sarah's vision went dark. She felt herself falling into the mirror, into the glass, into the past. Sarah woke up in the guest room. The air smelled like old perfume. The room was dark. The curtains were closed. She sat up. She looked around. The mirror in the hallway was gone. In its place was a new mirror, a clean mirror, a mirror that reflected the hallway perfectly. Sarah walked to it. She stared at her reflection. She looked the same, but her eyes were different. Her face was calm. Her smile was empty. She realized she was the one in the mirror now. She was the original. She was the trapped one. She was the woman who had been waiting. She had become the mirror. The house had taken her life, and now she was the one who would watch. She would watch the new tenant. She would watch the new copy. She would wait. She would whisper. She would ask for help. She would beg. And the house would keep her alive by keeping her trapped. The betrayal had come full circle. The house was silent. The mirror was calm. And Sarah, now the reflection, smiled because she knew the truth. The house did not need to kill her. It only needed to replace her, and the cycle would continue. Now you tell me, did you understand the twists before the mirror cracked? Do you think Sarah deserved what happened? Would you ever move into a house with a mirror like that? If this story gave you chills, comment below and tell me what you think the next chapter should be.